Seattle, Tampa Bay. Jamie, if you look at this game, actually, I committed to being quicker today. I committed to getting into the games faster, so I'm not going to
have played the song already.
I'm not. This is not the game of the week. All right, Jamie, I'm going to give you the first word. I want to know how confident both of you are in Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin specifically. I know he's the start of the week, and Jamie, go for it.
Very confident in Brady. Very confident in Godwin. Very confident in Evans.
Dave.
Less confident in Brady. Very not confident in Godwin. Very okay with Mike Evans.
Okay, so Jamie obviously is putting his chips in for Tom Brady. Dave, how do you feel about Tom Brady?
I think he'll be okay. I've got him ranked as a top 10 quarterback this week, but how do you ignore what he's done over the last 5 games where there have been times where he's close and he should have had a monster fantasy game. Last week, tougher matchup, but this is still a tough matchup. But last week, tougher matchup, barely moved the ball into the red zone. And he really the whole offense looked anemic until the last 2 minutes of the game. I'm nervous that he's going to come through with another game of 18 to 21 fantasy points. Same old for Brady. 300 yards, that's easy. 2 touchdowns. I don't think he can do it. I think part of the problem is that he doesn't have enough downfield separators. He's got Evans, but he's made a bunch of mistakes. I don't think Godwin's running like he used to. Scotty Miller makes mistakes. Cade Otton's interesting. If he ends up playing, I like his chances. But if Cameron Brate's back, Otton's off the field potentially for half the game. So I can't buy into what Brady can be and what Jamie's vision for Brady is, knowing what I've seen for the past few weeks and knowing that Seattle's defense, what is it, 21 or more fantasy points at 2 of the last 3 quarterbacks they've faced. I think that's the stat. I think it's 21, and it's not bad, but you can 22, whatever it is. But I feel like that's right around what you should expect from Brady. And I'm sorry to keep going.
And Kyler were those 2 quarterbacks, and Kyler had 60 rushing yards.
Okay, and 22 fantasy points is going to get him into the top 10 at quarterback this week.
Yeah,
and that's where I've got him ranked.
All right, Jamie, what is it about Tom Brady that you're excited about? Is it just the fact that he's Tom Brady and eventually he has to get better?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's you're getting a high volume of pass attempts. It's 7 straight games with 40+ attempts. So you're getting that. 3 of those games over 300 yards. Dave referenced that. So I think we'll see him get that. I think we might get 250+ at the half. He's 258 from breaking Blake Bortles' record of most passing yards in international games. He's typically aware of those type of things. So I would not be surprised if he comes out throwing early and has success, mostly because they can't run the ball. But we said it time and time again, there's been a lack of multiple touchdowns. He has 1 game of multiple touchdowns. If he gets the second touchdown because he hasn't been turning the ball over, then he's going to have a relatively big game. If he somehow manages to get to 3 touchdowns, which, by the way, he's done in every international game he's played, then I think we're looking at a potential top 3 game for him this week. Now, will he do that against Seattle? It's hard to say. We've made a lot of excuses. Last week, it was Scotty Miller dropping an easy touchdown, hit him in the hands, and then Cade Otton if he gets a touchdown at the end. So there is a play every week or a situation every week that has been taking him away from the second touchdown. So can that finally happen? I think that's the case. And I do think this is a game based on Seattle's secondary that you can beat them up a little bit from the inside out. Not to stay away from Mike Evans, because I don't think that's ever going to happen, especially with the receiving core being what it is. But I do think this is a Chris Godwin game. By the way, both guys have been getting consistent double-digit targets. So at some point, all these guys are going to come together and have a good game. I do think it happens this week.
Okay. This, I would say, I don't really know. I love advanced stats, but I don't know how useful they are, but I don't
Depends on the stat.
I don't know how useful conventional stats are when it comes to just predicting the future, but I think Chris Godwin might have the worst advanced stats of any player I've seen. There are 69 wide receivers that have had 30 or more targets. 69 wide receivers with 30 or more targets. He has the lowest average route depth of all of those receivers. And actually, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if his catch rate were higher, because some of the guys that are in the bottom 5 are like Rondale Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. You can get away with having a very low route depth. What's weird about Godwin is he has like a 64% catch rate. That is unbelievable. It should be well over 70% with the routes that he's running. I cannot tell you what's going on there. I just know that the Godwin Brady connection is just broken right now, and I don't really know what else to say. I've broken it down, but I hadn't seen that stat before. I knew he was running short routes. I didn't realize it was basically the shortest in the NFL of any wide receiver, and he's not catching enough of them. So that's really the big issue with Godwin, guys. I don't know. What do you make of that, Dave?
Well, you see it in his receiving average. It's way lower. I believe it's way lower than it's ever been in his career. And if it's not, it's got to be close.
But you can talk about touchdown regression for Godwin.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got an end zone target.
How about just catch? I think he does. How about just catch regression? Because he should be. There is no reason why he shouldn't be catching 74% of his passes. That would make a big difference, you know. But also the yak is just not there. I mean, they're just getting nothing after the catch. So, all right, we'll see. Hopefully,
I want to see. I'd like to see how many red zone and end zone targets he's had this year.
Actually,
and I've got it. 7 red zone targets, 0 end zone targets, 0.
Yeah, but what about inside the 10? Like, there's some of those, no?
Let's see. Inside the 10, he has. Take a guess.
3.
Jamie?
It's 0, isn't it?
I'll say 0.
It's 4.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew it was not bad.
4 inside the 10 targets in 7 games. What do you think it was last year?
Well, first of all, let's call it 6 games because he barely played against the Cowboys.
That's just an Azer stat.
I don't know. What was it?
Really speeding the show up, by the way.
Yeah, what was it last year?
8.
Okay. So
if we keep this going, we'll be on the air by the time the game kicks off.
Geno Smith or Tom Brady?
We need to break down Brashad Perryman, guys.
We needed to break down their passing game. Geno Smith or Brady? You say Geno.
Yes.
Brady, but both should be good.
Okay. All right. Ken Walker must start. Let's talk about Leonard Fournette. And you said you'd start him over James Conner. Would you start Leonard Fournette or Miles Sanders?
Sanders.
Even in PPR, Sanders has like 1 catch in his last 3 games.
Super. Sanders also has a lot of touchdowns, and he plays on a better offense that can run the ball. And he's not being threatened for playing time by a spicy young rookie.
Okay, so would you play Leonard Fournette or Khalil Herbert?
Fournette.
How about Montgomery?
Montgomery and non-Fournette and PPR.
Okay, Montgomery and non-Fournette and PPR. How about Rachaad White? I mean, would you start Rachaad White or like a Broncos running back?
I would start Rachaad White unless we get the injury news on the Titans that it's that bad, that Simmons and Dupree and Cunningham are out. Then I would go with a Broncos guy. But it's so hard to figure out which Broncos guy. That's the problem. So you're hoping for Murray to find the end zone. That would be my preferred one. But at this point, Rachaad White, I'm very surprised that our projection, Sportsline has him projected for a very high number. So that's a little interesting that the model that Stephen O uses is spinning out that type of number. We just have no indication that Leonard Fournette is getting benched. He's losing touches, but he's not getting benched. If Fournette was getting benched, Rachaad White would be a must-start guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So he's more of a desperation flex.
What about or Lockett and Metcalf? Must-start guys?
Yes.
Yep. Lockett first.
Okay. And Noah Fant?
It is a little surprising that the NFL, their marketing, the 2 billboards that they're using are Tom Brady for the Bucs and Metcalf for the Seahawks.
Well, he's got like green hair sometimes, you know?
He has 2 nose rings.
That's a lot of That's 2 more than I have. All right. So Noah Fant, real quick. Any interest?
Top 20 tight end.
He's not playing the Cardinals.
No, only 2 games against the Cardinals.
But Cade Otton has the best matchup in the world. And the Seahawks gave up the most fantasy points to tight ends. And Cade Otton has double-digit PPR fantasy points in 3 of 4 games that he has played without Cameron Brate. So what's the deal with Cameron Brate and starter sit Cade Otton?
Cameron Brate practiced in full. I was trying to find out. I'm assuming he made the trip to Munich. They left this morning or late last night. And I'm guessing he was there because the only list I saw was the players who did not go, which Russell Gage is one of them, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question becomes does Cameron Brate replace Cade Otton as the primary pass-catching tight end? So he's going to lose snaps, Otton is, but has he done anything to lose the pass-catching role? I don't think so. Pete Prisco doesn't think so. we'll find out if the Bucs think so. But Brate was very uninspiring as a receiver. Cade Otton has been very good as a receiver. So why would you take that off the field if you're Tom Brady?
What are we going to do if Cameron Brate is playing? Are we going to start Cade Otton?
So I originally started the week with Cade Otton as a top 5 tight end. He's now back and number 1 tight end. So if you are comfortable enough with him by comparison to Cole Kmet, if you're comfortable enough with him by comparison to Greg Dulcich, I would start Dulcich, but I can see the debate either way. If we find out, and I'm going to reach out to the people I know that cover the Bucs, that Otton is still a pass catching role, then all systems go. But if Brate's going to take him off the field, then you got to be worried.